Have you ever wondered if we're the first advanced civilization on Earth? What if millions of years ago, long before humans walked the planet, there were cities, technology, and societies that rose and fell, leaving almost no trace behind? It sounds like science fiction, but what if I told you that some of the greatest scientific minds have seriously considered this exact question? This isn't about ancient aliens or mystical prophecies. This is about cold, hard science. Today we're diving deep into the Silurian hypothesis. The name itself, Silurian, comes from a classic Doctor Who episode featuring an intelligent reptilian species that ruled Earth long before us, but the idea behind it is far from fiction. In 2018, two brilliant scientists, Adam Frank, an astrophysicist from the University of Rochester, and Gavin Schmidt, the director of the NASA Goddard Institute for Space Studies, published a paper that sent ripples through the scientific community. Their question was simple yet profound. If an industrial civilization existed on Earth millions of years ago, what kind of evidence would it leave behind, and could we even find it? Let's think about our own civilization for a moment. We've only been industrialized for about 300 years. That's a blink of an eye in geological time. The Earth is 4.5 billion years old. What if another species reached our level of development, say 60 million years ago during the Paleocene epoch? After all that time, would any of our cities, our roads, our plastic bottles, or our iPhones survive? The answer, surprisingly, is almost certainly no. The surface of the Earth is incredibly dynamic. Tectonic plates shift, mountains rise, oceans swallow coastlines, and erosion grinds everything to dust. Over millions of years, any direct evidence of a civilization, buildings, statues, factories, would be buried, crushed, and recycled by the planet itself. The chances of finding a 60-million-year-old fossilized smartphone are practically zero, so if we can't find their stuff, how could we possibly know they were here? This is where Frank and Schmidt's genius comes in. They proposed we stop looking for artifacts and start looking for fingerprints, geological fingerprints. An industrial civilization, by its very nature, changes the planet on a global scale. We're doing it right now. This era is even being called the Anthropocene, the age of humans. Because our impact is so significant, it will be visible in the rock layers for eons to come. So what kind of fingerprints are we talking about? First, let's look at carbon. Burning fossil fuels releases massive amounts of carbon into the atmosphere. This carbon has a specific isotopic signature. The carbon from ancient plants and animals is lighter than the carbon naturally present in the atmosphere. When we burn coal, oil, and gas, we flood the atmosphere with this lighter carbon. Scientists can detect this shift in ancient rock layers and ice cores, so if a pre-human civilization also powered their world with fossil fuels, we might see a sudden dramatic spike of light carbon in the geological record from millions of years ago. Then there's the issue of what comes next. All that carbon dioxide leads to global warming. A rapid warming event would melt ice caps, causing sea levels to rise and changing ocean chemistry. This would lead to widespread anoxia or low oxygen zones in the oceans. Marine life would die off in massive numbers, creating layers of black shale on the ocean floor, rich in organic matter that couldn't decompose. We're seeing this happen today, and it's a powerful geological marker. So another clue would be a layer of black shale appearing right after that carbon isotope spike, and it doesn't stop there. An industrial civilization needs a lot of energy and resources. This leads to increased soil erosion from agriculture and deforestation, which would wash huge amounts of sediment into the oceans. We might also see unusual concentrations of synthetic materials. Things like plastics, if they don't break down completely, might leave behind unique molecular fossils. Even more exotic would be traces of synthetic nitrogen from fertilizers, or even unusual radioactive isotopes from, say, a nuclear war or a reactor meltdown. These are all part of the unique chemical cocktail that a civilization like ours leaves on the planet. So the big question is, have we found anything like this? Have geologists drilling into ancient rock layers ever shouted, "Eureka! The lizard people were real"? Well, not exactly, but they have found something incredibly intriguing. There have been several points in Earth's history with sudden, unexplained changes that look suspiciously like the fingerprints we've just described. The most famous of these is the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum, or PETM. It happened around 56 million years ago. During the PETM, global temperatures soared by 5 to 8 degrees Celsius in just a few thousand years. Geologically, that's an instant. At the same time, massive amounts of light carbon were dumped into the atmosphere and oceans. It was one of the most rapid and extreme climate change events in Earth's history. Sound familiar? It's a striking parallel to what's happening today. Following this carbon spike and warming, there were mass extinctions in the deep sea, consistent with ocean anoxia. Now, the mainstream scientific explanation for the PETM is usually massive volcanic activity releasing carbon from the Earth's crust or the sudden melting of methane hydrates from the seafloor. These are plausible natural causes. However, the Silurian hypothesis asks us to consider an alternative, even if it's just a thought experiment. Could the PETM have been caused not by a volcano but by the industrial activity of a short-lived pre-human civilization? The paper by Frank and Schmidt is not claiming that this is what happened. They are very clear about that. Their goal was to figure out what the signature of a lost industrial civilization would even look like. They wanted to know if we are even capable of distinguishing an industrial event from a natural geological event. The chilling conclusion they reached is that it might be extremely difficult. The PETM looks a lot like what we're doing to the planet right now. If our civilization were to collapse tomorrow and a new intelligent species arose in 60 million years, they might look back at our Anthropocene layer and debate whether it was caused by us or by some unusual volcanic activity. They might not find our cities, but they would find our chemical shadow. This idea forces us to look at our own impact in a new light. We often see our effect on the planet as unnatural, a scar on the face of nature. But from a geological perspective, the Anthropocene might just look like another one of the Earth's many dramatic chapters. The planet has gone through extreme warming, ocean acidification, and mass extinctions before. The Earth will recover. It always does. The question is, will we? The Silurian hypothesis is a humbling thought experiment. It reminds us of our own impermanence. It connects our present actions to a deep geological past and a distant future. It suggests that the ultimate legacy of a civilization might not be its pyramids or its poetry, but a subtle change in the chemistry of rocks. Maybe there were others before us, their stories told not in books, but in layers of sediment and carbon isotopes, and perhaps millions of years from now, another species will drill down into the rock and find a thin, strange layer, our layer, and wonder, what on earth happened here? It's a mind-bending idea that reframes our place in the cosmos and on our own planet. What do you think? Is it possible that we're not the first? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into planetary science, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the unknown. See you next time.